crying night. I can't be the only one crying at night.
So we're here to talk about your new album.
Yeah,
It's entitled Can't Be the Only One,
that is true.
and it was released last April.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the inspiration behind the album?
The inspiration behind the album is actually just for me as a person who writes music and writes songs, to really get my music out into the world and to get it played and performed by the people that I felt could really play it the best. The thing that really brought it together, though, was a desire to get the song that I had written with Janis 40 years ago really as the key thing on that CD.
So she gave you the lyrics to that song, I believe, in 1968.
That's right.
So why now did you decide to record and release it?
Obviously, we never could record it with Janis because she gave it to me at a time when she decided to quit the band. She gave it to me actually maybe a week or maybe at the most 2 weeks before she announced she was quitting Big Brother. So after that point, we never rehearsed again. We did go out on one last tour, but we didn't rehearse at all. And we never played that song. So for years I had the song, I had the lyrics, I kept the lyrics, and I would look at them, but I had no idea how she would have sung them or how really to put them to music. That was something that in my head kind of evolved over time, and as I recorded more and as I wrote more music myself, I started to look at those lyrics over the years, and each time I would see them, I started to some way envision how the melody might go to the music that I had written. I think the real key that really changed it was I started to really read the lyrics one day and really see what they meant in terms of the time period that she was in and where she was going. And I always felt that all of the music that she sang, everything she always chose to sing, was very like autobiographical. She always had to have a personal identification with the music that she chose to sing. And this was like so personal when I really got into looking at those lyrics and seeing what she was saying and the time where she was going to go out on her own, and at the same time the loneliness she felt with all of her success, you know, still feeling like a lonely person and not like everyone else. It was an inspiring moment.
Mhm. So who did you have singing the song on the album for that particular
The
song?
singer for that song is Kathy McDonald, which is also something that I would say is a karmadelic event, because Kathy is someone who was the first singer after Janis. When after Janis died, Big Brother got back together again, and the first female singer in the band was Kathy McDonald. And I've played with her on and off over the years, and she just showed up. She just showed up in the Bay Area, in Marin County, where I was just about at the time I was ready to put a vocal track on that song.
So did you create the melody for the lyrics, or did you two work
I
together?
told Kathy the melody that I heard. I said, I think would work as the melody, the way these lyrics could go to this riff, this music. She embellished it a little bit. She pretty much stuck to what I did, but her embellishments were important, really an important contribution.
So I'm looking at this photo with you and Janis here,
Yeah.
and would you like to describe what's going on in this photo?
This photo was taken 2 years before the event of the song Can't Be the Only One. This is in 1966, and what happened was Big Brother and the Holding Company, shortly after Janis joined the band, we decided to all live together, and we went and rented a house in a place called Lagunitas, California. And this house was a very interesting house because it was actually a very historical house. It had been a hunting lodge, and Teddy Roosevelt had actually slept there, and it had belonged to a guy named Miriam, who was a naturalist who kept Miwok Indians there and had been a friend of John Muir's. So the house had a lot of history, and we lived in this house. And this was my room in the house, and it was behind the kitchen. It was kind of a funky room where I lived, and Janis lived alone, and I lived alone, and everybody else in the band was a couple. You know, they were married or they were with somebody. So we were the two sort of like people living alone, and we had this bond, a nice bond. We were friends, And and this moment we were just having a great time, and my friend of mine, Bob Seidemann, a wonderful photographer, was hanging around with us, and he just picked up the camera
Captured.
and captured that moment.
So you're best known as a drummer, but you wouldn't really call this as a drumming album.
No, no, it's not a drumming album. It's mostly, this record for me was mostly trying to get the music that I've composed over the last 20, 25 years, the best of it, and I have many, many more songs, but these songs were songs that lyrics had been written by other people, and I felt all of the lyrics on the songs that I chose for the album all in some way relate to some kind of a point of view of the world, a certain kind of attitude. It's not a happy attitude. It's a kind of there's a lot of melancholy in it. There's a lot of wondering and questioning of things.
And where can people buy the album?
They can buy my album on CD Baby. They can buy my album on Big Brother and the Holding Company, bbhc.com. They can buy it on Amazon. They can download tracks on iTunes. And hopefully there'll be something on my website soon, which is davegetz.com.
Well, thank you, David.
Thank you, Billy.
And the album is Can't Be the Only One.
Dave Getz, Breakaway with Kathy McDonald.